कीजिए।
हो गई स्टार्ट करें बस आप।
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and a very good morning. Today we will learn about the disorder of thyroid gland. So this is the endocrine lecture, and we will learn about the pathologies of the thyroid gland, which can manifest as the hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. So first of all, the outline of my lecture. The lecture will comprise on three different parts. In the first part, we will learn about the hypothyroidism. In the second part, we will learn about hyperthyroidism, and finally, we will see the difference between hypo and hyperthyroidism. So, coming to the hypothyroidism, in hypothyroidism, we will cover the causes which can lead to this condition, then different types of hypothyroidism, the pathological conditions, clinical sign and symptoms or clinical manifestation of hypothyroidism, then laboratory diagnosis, and finally treatment of hypothyroidism. So in the second part, we will learn about thyrotoxicosis, which is a condition related to hypothyroidism, the causes of hypothyroidism, different types of hypothyroidism, and Graves' disease, which is a specific type of the hypothyroidism, clinical manifestation, laboratory diagnosis, and finally the treatment of hypothyroidism. And in the third section, we will see the difference between these two conditions, that is hypo and hyperthyroidism. So in this slide, you can see the anatomical structure of the thyroid gland. Here you can see that this is a butterfly shaped gland, which is comprised of two lobes, right lobe and the left lobe. And these two lobes are connected by means of the isthmus. This is a gross diagram of this thyroid gland. Here you can appreciate the right and the left lobe and the isthmus. Okay, so when we are talking about the anatomical position, thyroid gland present in the neck, in front of trachea, below the cricoid cartilage, okay, or the larynx. So this is the anatomical position, and when you are relating with the vertebral column, it is present in front of C5 to T1. Okay, so the exact position of the thyroid gland is in front of the C5 to T1. So when we are talking about the thyroid gland, we will consider the both lobes. Okay, so this diagram represents the hypothalamic, pituitary, and thyroid axis. As in my first lecture of endocrinology, I have told you about the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. You know, the pituitary gland is the master gland of the endocrine system, and it receives all the signals from the hypothalamus. So when we are talking about the thyroid hormone is stimulated by a thyroid stimulating hormone, which is also known as the thyrotropin, and this thyrotropin is released from the anterior pituitary. Okay, you can see over here, and this thyroid stimulating hormone is again stimulated by the hypothalamus by means of the thyrotropin releasing hormone. So hypothalamus will secrete the thyrotropin releasing hormone. It will stimulate the cells which are known as the thyrotropes to release the thyrotropin or the thyroid stimulating hormone, and this thyroid stimulating hormone will act on the thyroid glands on its receptor to secrete the thyroid hormones, which are known as the T3 and the T4. Okay, so when we are talking about the thyroid hormone, we will discuss about the T3 and the T4. The T3 is triiodothyronine and T4 is thyroxine or tetraiodothyronine. Okay, so remember or recall the last lecture in which we have learned about the negative and the positive feedback. So whenever there is increased amount of T4 and the T3 in the blood, it will give the negative feedback to pituitary and the hypothalamus to stop the secretion of TSH and TRH. Okay, or whenever in the body the T4 and the T3 concentration is low, it will give the positive feedback to hypothalamus and pituitary to secrete TRH and TSH simultaneously to stimulate the thyroid gland to secrete T3 and the T4. Okay, so this is a very good slide for the the hypothalamic, pituitary, and thyroid axis understanding. Okay, So coming to the next slide, or the first part of the lecture, the hypothyroidism. Hypo means decrease, and thyroidism is a condition in which the thyroid gland is involved, or there's an inflammation or the infection of the thyroid gland. Okay. So what is hypothyroidism? Basically, hypothyroidism is the condition in which there is decreased thyroid hormone secretion. Okay, and when we are talking about the thyroid hormones, we will consider T3 and the T4. Okay, so what is the cause of decreased concentration of T3 and the T4 in the blood? T3 and T4 will be decreased in the blood with any structural or the functional derangement that interfere with the production of these two hormones. Okay, so this is all about the hypothyroidism, or the basic etiology of hypothyroidism. So what are the different types of the cause? This is a common disorder, and we will learn about the different causes which can lead to hypothyroidism in the next slide. The overall prevalence of the hypothyroidism is about 0.3%, and it is more prevalent in women than in men. Okay. Prevalence is also seen to be increased with increasing age, and it is almost tenfold more common in the women than in the men. The etiology or the cause is unknown. Okay, so that why it is more common in women than in men. Okay, again, for the cause of hypothyroidism, the hypothyroidism can result from defect anywhere from hypothalamic, pituitary, or the thyroid axis. So on the basis of the defect where it is present, which can lead to the hypothyroidism, which can categorize hypothyroidism into two types, the primary and the secondary. So when we are talking about the primary causes, basically they are intrinsic abnormality of the thyroid gland. So the primary cause will always be related to the thyroid gland. Okay. Then coming to the secondary causes, secondary causes will always affect the central nervous system, whether the pituitary or the hypothalamus. So whenever the pituitary or the hypothalamus will be affected, the cause will be secondary in the nature for hypothyroidism. Okay. And when the thyroid gland is affected, due to which there is decreased concentration of T3 and T4, the cause will be primary in the nature. Okay. Now coming to the primary. Primary hypothyroidism can be congenital, can be acquired, or autoimmune. Okay, this is a more detailed slide for the causes of hypothyroidism, the primary and secondary. You can see here. In the primary causes, as I told you, that there is a congenital disorder. So developmental disorders can also be there, in which thyroid dysgenesis, or there is a gene dysfunction of the genes which are related to the formation of the thyroid hormone. Okay, so there are different type of the genes which can be affected to produce the thyroid hormone. Okay, these genes are PAX8, FOXE1, and TSH receptor mutation. Okay, the PAX8 is paired box-X, and the FOXE1 is fork head box-E1. Okay, this is the terminology. Okay, now coming to the second cause of the primary hypothyroidism, the thyroid hormone resistance syndrome, in which thyroid hormone is present, but the function of the thyroid hormone is not there at the level of the tissue, because there is a resistance at the tissue level. Okay, then post-ablative. What is post-ablative? What does it mean by ablative? Yes, anyone? Yes, the post-ablative means that after treatment. Okay, so when we are talking about the post-ablative, we mean that the treatment of hyperthyroidism. So when we are talking about the hyperthyroidism, there are two types of the treatment. Either we give the medication or either we do the surgical treatment of the thyroid gland. So whenever there is enlarged thyroid gland, one of the treatment of the hyperthyroidism is the resection of the thyroid gland. So whenever there is excessive resection of thyroid gland, it can lead to hypothyroidism because of the extra removal of the thyroid gland or the thyroid tissues. So whenever there is no thyroid tissue or there is a less amount of the thyroid tissue which is required for the normal production of the thyroid hormone, definitely there will be a hypothyroidism. Okay, so the post ablative is a cause of the hypothyroidism. It is included surgery, radio iodine therapy, or the external irradiation. Okay, these are all the treatment of the hyperthyroidism. Then coming to the autoimmune hypothyroidism, the most common cause in developed countries, the autoimmune hypothyroidism, in which antibodies are produced against the thyroid antigen, and the condition is known as Hashimoto thyroiditis. Okay. Then coming to the iodine deficiency, this is the most common cause in underdeveloped countries. In these countries, the iodine is not present in sufficient amount in the diet of the population. So this iodine deficiency will lead to hypothyroidism because iodine is an important part for the formation of thyroid hormone. Okay. Then coming to the different types of the drugs, the lithium iodides and the aminosalicylic acid can also lead to hypothyroidism. Okay, and congenital biosynthesis defect, which is also known as the inborn error of the metabolism, this hormone genetic quarter. Okay, so these are all causes of primary hypothyroidism in which thyroid gland is affected. Okay, remember this thing always. When we are talking about the secondary, it means that the central nervous system is defected, leading to hypothyroidism. And what are different glands which can be affected? These are pituitary and the hypothalamic area, whatever the cause, either the pituitary adenoma or the infarction or the infection, and similarly with the hypothalamus. Okay. Now coming to the congenital hypothyroidism. Some more detail about the causes of primary hypothyroidism. The congenital hypothyroidism is most often the result of the endemic iodine deficiency in the diet of a mother. So whenever the mother is affected with the hypothyroidism, definitely there will be no sufficient amount of the thyroid hormone for the baby also. So the hypothyroid manifestation or the manifestation of the hypothyroidism will also be appear in baby. Okay. So, other less common causes of the congenital hypothyroidism involve the inborn error of thyroid metabolism, in which there is a defect in the pathway leading to the formation of the thyroid hormone. Okay. Now coming to the acquired hypothyroidism. Acquired hypothyroidism can be caused by the surgical or the radiation-induced ablation of thyroid parenchyma, as we have learned in the previous slide about the post-ablative treatment of the thyroid gland due to the hyperthyroidism. Okay, so this is one of the cause of the acquired hypothyroidism. Okay. And as I have already told you that a large section of the thyroid gland or the total thyroidectomy can lead to the hypothyroidism, or the drugs which are given for the treatment of the hyperthyroidism will also lead to the acquired hypothyroidism. And what are these drugs? These are the anti-thyroid drugs which are used for the treatment of the hyperthyroidism. For example, methimazole and propylthiouracil. Okay. Now coming to the autoimmune hypothyroidism. Again, this is a primary cause of hypothyroidism, and it is the most common cause of the hypothyroidism in iodine insufficient area or in developed countries. Okay. In the vast majority of the cases of autoimmune hypothyroidism, these are due to the Hashimoto thyroiditis. This is the most common cause of the autoimmune hypothyroidism. And what happened in this syndrome? The circulating autoantibodies, including antimicrosomal antibody, anti-thyroid peroxidase antibody or the anti-TPO antibody, and anti-TG or the anti-thyroglobulin antibodies are there in the blood of these patients, which will act against the antigen present on the thyroid gland. So there will be an antigen antibody reaction, which is the basic the cause of any autoimmune disease. So whenever the autoimmune disease is related to the thyroid gland only, it will lead to the Hashimoto thyroiditis, which can cause hypothyroidism. Okay. The most interesting thing is that in this Hashimoto thyroiditis syndrome, or in these cases, the thyroid gland is typically enlarged, because the basic manifestation of the hyperthyroidism is the goiter or the enlargement of the thyroid gland. But this is the one of the condition of hypothyroidism, in which the gland is enlarged. And why it is enlarged? Because it is inflamed due to antigen antibody reaction. So whenever there is an inflammatory process over there, definitely all the inflammatory cells and the inflammatory, the serous accumulation will lead to the enlargement of the parenchyma, the enlargement of the thyroid gland, which lead to goitrous appearance. So the patient is suffering from the hypothyroidism, but you can see, or you can observe the enlargement of the thyroid gland in these patients. Okay. So this type of the condition in which the autoimmune reaction is over there, it can be occur in isolation. That is, it can only present in the thyroid gland, or it can be in conjunction with the other autoimmune disorders. For example, in the polyendocrine syndrome 1 or the 2. Okay, so this is a syndrome in which autoimmune disorder is present in the multiple types of the gland, including the thyroid gland, or the pituitary gland, and the parathyroid gland. Okay, so these are the syndromes in which one of the manifestation is the hypothyroidism. Okay, now coming to the secondary causes of the hypothyroidism. When we are talking about the secondary hypothyroidism, we know that we are talking about a defect in the pituitary and the hypothalamus. So in the pituitary, there may be a pituitary tumor, postpartum pituitary necrosis, trauma, and non-pituitary tumors. And when we are talking about the hypothalamus damage, the tumor can be there, the trauma, radiation therapy, or infiltrative disorder. So any cause which leads to the destruction of the cells of the hypothalamus or the pituitary, which are responsible to secrete the either TRH, thyrotropin releasing hormone, or the thyrotropin or the TSH, it will lead to the hypothyroidism. And which type of the hypothyroidism is this? This is the secondary type of the hypothyroidism. Okay. Are you with me? Okay, now coming to the clinical manifestation of hypothyroidism. The clinical manifestation of hypothyroidism is depending on the age of the patient. Okay, so there are two types of the clinical manifestation depending on the age, cretinism and the myxedema. What is cretinism? Cretinism is the hypothyroidism manifestation which occur in infancy or the early childhood. Okay, so when the hypothyroidism is there in the children, this condition is known as cretinism. Okay, so what are the clinical signs and symptoms of cretinism? Definitely, the all of the function which are related to thyroid hormone will be suffered. Okay, so impaired development of the skeletal system and central nervous system will be there in the children which are suffering from cretinism. Severe mental retardation can be seen, short stature, coarse facial features, protruding tongue, and the umbilical hernia can be seen in patients with cretinism. This is all due to the deficiency or the lack of T3 and T4, which are the effector hormones. Okay. Now coming to the myxedema. The myxedema is applied to the hypothyroidism which develop in adults or older children. The clinical manifestation may vary with the age of onset of the deficiency. Okay. The older children shows the signs and symptoms intermediate between those of the cretins and those of the adults with the hypothyroidism. In the adults, the condition appears insidiously and may take years to reach the level of clinical suspicion. Okay, so it can be acute or it can be chronic in nature, or it can be abruptly seen in the patients, or it will take years to manifest. What are the clinical signs and symptoms of myxedema? So the common presentation are generalized fatigue, lack of concentration or apathy, mental sluggishness, cold intolerance, overweight, and constipation. Basically, these cold intolerance, overweight, and constipation are the major signs and symptoms which are present in patients with hypothyroidism. And always 99% of the patients will give you the history of these three signs and symptoms, that they are feeling very cold, and they are obese, and they are suffering from the constipation. So what is the cause of the myxedema? Myxedema is due to the accumulation of the matrix substances. And what are the matrix substances? These are the glycosamine glycans, hyaluronic acid, in skins, in subcutaneous tissues, and in number of the vessel size, which can lead to non-pitting edema. Non-pitting edema in which there is no pit formation after a depression of the muscle against the bony surface. Okay, so the edema will be non-pitting in nature. There are two types of the edema: the pitting or the non-pitting. But in case of the myxedema, there is a non-pitting type of the edema which can be seen in patients with the myxedema. Okay. Then the broadening and the coarsening of the facial feature, there are mask appearance of the the face in patient with the myxedema. Then enlargement of the tongue and deepening of the voice. And what are the reason behind these symptoms? There is accumulation of matrix substances in the skin or the subcutaneous tissue or in the viscera. Okay. So this is you can see the picture of a typical masked face, the coarse facial features of a patient suffering from the myxedema, and this is the accumulation of the hyaluronic acid or the other matrix substances under the skin. Okay. Now coming to the diagnosis of the hypothyroidism. So when we're talking about the diagnosis of the hypothyroidism, basically, these patients present with a very non-specific sign and symptoms. That is weight gain, constipation, mental sluggishness, or there is a lack of concentration, or there is the constipation. So these are very vague signs and symptoms. So, and whenever there is no enlargement of the thyroid gland, the enlargement of the thyroid gland is present only in the Hashimoto thyroiditis. Okay, so whenever there is a non-autoimmune causes of the thyroid gland, there will be no palpable thyroid gland. So for the diagnosis of the hypothyroidism, the laboratory diagnosis play an important part. And what is the most common test to rule out the hypothyroidism? It is the serum TSH. Okay, so in these patients, we will ask the patients to have their thyroid stimulating hormone levels in the blood. Okay. So when we are talking about the primary hypothyroidism, the TSH level is increased. Why? Because in the primary hypothyroidism, the thyroid gland will be affected. And these, when the thyroid gland is affected, it will lead to decreased concentration of the T3 and the T4. And due to the positive feedback to the thyroid, hypothalamus, and to the pituitary, the TSH will be increased. Okay, so this is the diagnosis of the primary hypothyroidism, that the T3 and the T4 will be decreased and the TSH will be increased. Okay, and when we are talking about the secondary hypothyroidism, the TSH will be decreased, due to which there will be no stimulation of the thyroid gland, and the T3 and the T4 will also be decreased. Okay, what is the treatment of the hypothyroidism? Definitely the effector hormones will not be there, and the effector hormones are T3 and the T4. So due to the decreased concentration of the T3 and the T4 in the blood, we have to replace them in the blood, and we give the exogenous thyroid hormone in the form of synthetic hormone or the tablets, which are known as this is a generic name of the drug, which is the levothyroxine. And this is the most common type of the treatment we are usually giving to the patients of hypothyroidism. It is given in the form of the tablets to the patients. Okay, and this is a lifetime treatment for the hypothyroidism. So this is a very interesting slide. Here you can see the blood levels of the TSH, T3 and T4, and the interpretation. So when we are talking about the primary hypothyroidism, we know that T3 and the T4 will be decreased, but the TSH will be increased. And when we are talking about the secondary hypothyroidism, the all three levels will be decreased, or in the that TSH, T3 and the T4 will be decreased because the TSH will not be there. So there will be insufficiency of the TSH and simultaneously the insufficiency of the T3 and the T4 also. Now coming to the second part of the presentation, and this is all about the hyperthyroidism. So hyper means increased level or increase, or the thyroidism is the inflammation or the infection of the thyroid gland. So the inflammation of the thyroid gland will lead to increased secretion of the thyroid hormone, and this condition will lead to hyperthyroidism. Okay, are you with me? So coming to the thyrotoxicosis. What is thyrotoxicosis? Thyrotoxicosis is a terminology which is related to the hypermetabolic state. And in thyrotoxicosis, the T3 and the T4 level will be increased. Okay, so the condition in which thyroid hormone is present in increased amount. Okay, the condition is known as thyrotoxicosis, whatever the cause of the increased concentration of T3 and the T4. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that there are some other etiology which can lead to hyperthyroidism. Okay, or the T3 or the T4 concentration will be increased other than the thyroid gland. So whenever the thyroid gland is responsible to secrete the increased amount of T3 and T4, the condition is known as hyperthyroidism. But when we are talking about thyrotoxicosis, it means that the condition may be related outside of the thyroid gland. Okay, so thyrotoxicosis is a hypermetabolic state caused by elevated circulating levels of T3 and T4. It is caused most commonly by hyperfunction of the thyroid gland. It is often referred to the hyperthyroidism, but sometimes it is not related to hyperfunctioning of thyroid gland and related to extrathyroidal sources of inflammatory process. And what are these extrathyroidal sources of the inflammation process? These are granulomatous thyroiditis, subacute lymphocytic thyroiditis, stroma overi, and factitious thyrotoxicosis. Okay, so this slide is about the causes of thyrotoxicosis related to hyperthyroidism due to the thyroid gland involvement and not associated with hyperthyroidism. That means that hyperthyroidism is not there. The thyroid gland is not hyperfunctioning, but T3 and the T4 level will be there. Okay. So first we will learn about the causes of the hyperthyroidism related to the thyroid gland. Okay, again it is further divided into primary and the secondary. Primary, in which the thyroid gland is affected, and secondary, in which the pituitary or the hypothalamus is affected. Okay, so the primary causes: diffuse toxic hyperplasia, which is known as the Graves' disease. The most commonest cause of the hyperthyroidism is the Graves' disease, in which there is a diffuse toxic hyperplasia of thyroid gland. Then hyperfunctioning toxic multinodular goiter. Okay, so multinodules can be seen in the goiter. Hyperfunctioning toxic adenoma, the single adenoma is there in the thyroid gland. Okay, you can see that all of the condition related to the thyroid gland. So these are primary in nature. Okay. Then iodine-induced hyperthyroidism. Neonatal thyrotoxicosis associated with the maternal Graves' disease. As we have learned in the hypothyroidism, when the mother is suffering from the hypothyroidism, the baby will be also. And whenever the mother is suffering from the Graves' disease, the neonatal thyrotoxic can be there. Okay. Now coming to the secondary causes. The secondary causes, as we know, that may be due to the central nervous system, and the most common cause is TSH secreting pituitary adenoma. Okay, the adenoma which are related to the thyrotrophs, and it can lead to TSH secreting pituitary adenoma. Okay. Now coming to the thyrotoxicosis, which are the causes which are not related to the thyroid gland hyperfunctioning. Okay. So first cause is granulomatous thyroiditis. What happened in granulomatous thyroiditis? Basically, this is a condition of autoimmune thyroid disease in which there is an inflammation of the thyroid gland, which lead to the thyroiditis, the inflammation. And whenever there is an inflammation, the thyroid follicle will be destructed, and this destruction of the thyroid follicle will lead to the extra surge of the thyroid hormone which are present inside the follicle. Okay, then subacute lymphocytic thyroiditis, again the lymphocytic inflammation or the inflammation of the thyroid gland. It is painless in nature. The first one is painful in nature. This is a differentiation of the presentation of these two thyroiditis. But the thyroid gland is not hyperfunctioning because it's the inflammation. Okay, that's why we are saying that the thyroid hyperfunctioning is not there. Okay, so only the inflammation will lead to the increased secretion of the T3 and the T4, but thyroid gland function is not in hyper state. Okay, then coming to the main cause of the non-thyroid illness, it is known as the stroma ovariae. The stroma ovariae is a ovarian teratoma with the ectopic thyroid tissue over there. And what is teratoma? Teratoma is a tumor which is yes, the teratoma is a tumor, and it is present in the ovary, and it has the different mature tissues, including the thyroid tissue. Okay, so the thyroid tissue is abnormally there in the ovarian teratoma, and which is responsible to secrete the thyroid hormone. Okay, so the thyroid hormone is secreting anywhere else except or rather than or other than the thyroid gland. Okay, then coming to the factitious thyrotoxicosis. This factitious thyrotoxicosis is a condition in which the exogenous thyroxine is given to the patient to the patients suffering from the hypothyroidism. As we learned that the treatment of the hypothyroidism um, is the external yes, in the exogenous thyroxine intake, in which we give the treatment to the patient suffering from the hypothyroidism. Levothyroxine is usually given to the patients, which can lead to the hyperthyroidism, and this condition is known as the factitious. Okay. Now coming to the types, as we have learned primary and secondary in the nature, the primary causes we have learned. Now coming to the Graves' disease, this is the most common cause of the hyperthyroidism. It is characterized by the triad of the clinical findings. The hyperthyroidism is there, infiltrative ophthalmopathy will be there, and the localized infiltrative dermopathy is there, and it is sometimes called the pretibial myxedema, which is present in minority of the patients. So this triad of the signs and symptoms are there in Graves' disease. It is autoimmune in nature. The peak incidence is 20 to 40 years of the age, and women are more affected than men, and it is 10 times more common in women than in men, as we have also learned in hypothyroidism. So basically the thyroid disorders are more commonly present in women than in men. Okay, so as I told you that this is the autoimmune disease, the auto antibodies are there and auto antigens are there, which can lead to the Graves' disease. So there are three types of the immunoglobulin you can see in these patients. Either the thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin, which can lead to the thyroid stimulating hormone receptors, and it will mimic just like the TSH is binding to the receptor. So the more and more T3 and T4 will be released from the thyroid hormone. The second type of the antibody is thyroid growth stimulating immunoglobulin. So it will lead to the increased growth of the thyroid tissue. Then TSH binding inhibitor immunoglobulin. These anti-TSH receptor antibodies prevent TSH from binding normally to its receptors, and sometimes it stimulate and sometimes it inhibit the activities of the thyroid gland. So there is a dual action of TSH binding inhibitor immunoglobulin. So these three types of the antibodies can be seen in patient with the Graves' disease, as we have seen in the Hashimoto disease that three different types of the antibodies can lead to Hashimoto disease, and which were the anti-TPO antibody, anti-thyroglobulin antibody, and anti-macrosomal antibody. So these types of the antibodies are seen in hypothyroidism, and in hypothyroidism, these three types of the antibodies can be seen in Graves' disease. Okay. Now coming to the manifestation of the hypothyroidism. The manifestation of the hypothyroidism, all manifestations are either due to the increase in the metabolic rate, or increase in cardiac contractility, or the overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system. So when we are talking about the increased metabolic rate or increased rate of the metabolism, the manifestation of the hypothyroidism will be increased sweating, heat intolerance. The skin of these patients will be soft, warm, and flushed, and the increased appetite will be seen in these patients. They feel more hunger, they will be more hungry than other normal population. Okay, इनको ज़्यादा खाना पड़ता है. And then there is a weight loss. Why appetite is increased? The appetite is increased due to the increased metabolic rate. The metabolism जैसे ज़्यादा होगा इतनी ज़्यादा भूख लगती है. ठीक है ना? So now coming to the manifestation due to the cardiac contractility. Increased cardiac contractility will lead to the tachycardia, the increased heart rate, palpitations, cardiomegaly, arrhythmias, and the atrial fibrillation. And these are all cardiac related abnormalities due to the increased contraction of the cardiac muscles, which can be seen in patients with the hyperthyroidism. Now coming to the third cause of the manifestation of hyperthyroidism, and it is the increased sympathetic nervous system activity. And the increased sympathetic nervous system activity will lead to the tremors, most commonly seen in patients with the Graves' disease, hyperactivity, emotional disturbance, anxiety, inability to concentrate again, insomnia, proximal muscle weakness, and decreased muscle mass. Okay. So ocular manifestation most commonly seen in the patient with the Graves' disease and hyperthyroidism also. And why it is there? It is there due to the stimulation of the levator palpebrae superioris, which is a muscle of the eyelid. Okay. And what will happen in this case? A wide gaze is staring. You can see over there. The patient has a stare gaze. Okay. Or the lid lag. This is the lid lag. You can see that there is a lagging of the lid whenever the patient is seen downward. Okay. And the proptosis. Proptosis is the bulging of the eyes. Okay. So these are the clinical manifestation, ocular manifestation in patients with the hyperthyroidism. Other manifestation are the hypermotility or the diarrhea, which whenever the GI system is affected, and the osteoporosis and the fracture whenever skeletal system is affected. Now coming to important manifestation of the hyperthyroidism, and the condition is known as a thyroid storm, in which the increase or the surge of the T3 and T4 can be seen in patients. And what is this condition? This is the abrupt onset of the severe hyperthyroidism, occur most commonly in patients with underlying Graves' disease. Okay, and this underlying Graves' disease is not diagnosed, but it can manifest when the patient is suffering from any type of the infection or the surgery, or there may be a cessation of the anti-thyroid medication or any type of distress. So these conditions will lead to the increased concentration of the catecholamine in the body, which can lead to the thyroid storm. Okay, so patients are often febrile. The presentation is common. The common presentation will be patient will be febrile in nature, and will be presented by tachycardia, and tachycardia will be out of proportion to the fever. ठीक है ना? वैसे भी fever के अंदर that heart rate increase हो जाता है. जब heart rate increase होता है तो इसका मतलब ये है कि febrile है patient, लेकिन यहाँ febrile patient ज़्यादा होता है और टेकिकार्डिया जो है वो उसके आउट ऑफ प्रोपोर्शन होता है, बहुत ज़्यादा जो है वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टिलिटी होती है. दिस इज मेडिकल इमरजेंसी, और अगर ट्रीट नहीं किया जाए तो पेशेंट कैन बी डाई बिकॉज ऑफ द कार्डिक एरिथमियाज. ओके, Now coming to the diagnosis of the hyperthyroidism, as we have learned in the hypothyroidism that the clinical laboratory investigation plays important part or the important role for the diagnosis of the hypothyroidism. But in case of the hyperthyroidism, जो क्लिनिकल पिक्चर होती है पेशेंट की, वो पेशेंट जैसे ही अंदर आता है क्लिनिक के अंदर, आपको या तो उसकी अपीयरेंस बता देती है, जैसे एक्सोप्थेल्मस है पेशेंट को, थिन लीन पेशेंट होता है, और जब एग्जामिनेशन पे आते हैं तो थायराइड इनलार्ज होता है, थायराइड ग्लैंड, इसी तरीके से जो है वो ट्रेमर्स कैन बी एप्रिशिएटेड इन दीज पेशेंट्स. So clinical signs and symptoms plays an important part for the diagnosis of hyperthyroidism. Then coming to the laboratory diagnosis, yes, laboratory diagnosis plays again an important part for the diagnosis of the hyperthyroidism, but definitely there will be a different, yes, there will be a different interpretation of the TSH, T3 and the T4. Okay. So measurement of TSH concentration using sensitive TSH assay provide the most useful single screening test of hyperthyroidism. A low TSH value is usually confirmed with measurement of the free T4. क्या होता है कि T4 ज्यादा है, ठीक है ना, थायराइड हार्मोन ज्यादा है, जो थायराइड हार्मोन ज्यादा होगा तो it will give the negative feedback to the pituitary to decrease the secretion of the TSH. So in setting with the increased T3 and T4, we will see the decrease TSH secretion in case of primary hyperthyroidism. क्योंकि प्राइमरी में क्या होगा कि हाइपर फंक्शनिंग कहाँ से हो रही होगी, थायराइड की तरफ से. And when we will talking about the सेकेंडरी कॉजेस, सेकेंडरी कॉज में क्या होगा, एडिनोमा होगा, तो टीएसएच ज्यादा होगा, और टीएसएच ज्यादा होगा तो T3 और T4 भी ज्यादा होगा. तो सेकेंडरी के अंदर सब कुछ ऊपर होगा, चाहे टीएसएच हो, T3 और T4 हो, और प्राइमरी के अंदर क्या होगा कि T3 एंड T4 इंक्रीज होगा और TSH डिक्रीज होगा. ओके, एंड दिस अ कंडीशन व्हिच इज आल्सो नोन एज द T3 थायरोटॉक्सिकोसिस. और T3 थायरोटॉक्सिकोसिस वो कंडीशन है जिसमें सिर्फ T3 इंक्रीज होता है, T4 इफेक्ट नहीं होता. T3 it is an occasional the presentation in the patient in which hyperthyroidism results predominantly from increased circulating T3, and this condition is known as T3 thyrotoxicosis. And in these cases free T4 levels may be decreased and direct measurement of serum T3 may be useful. ठीक है ना, जब आपको inappropriate लग रहे होते हैं थायराइड प्रोफाइल तो फिर आप T3 की तरफ जाते हैं, वरना यूजुअली जो है वो TSH और FT4 से ही काम चल जाता है. ओके, दिस इज एन अदर लेबोरेटरी डायग्नोसिस फॉर हाइपरथायराइडिज्म. हमने आपको शुरू में शायद याद हो के बात की थी कि डिफ्यूज या तो हाइपरप्लेसिया है प्राइमरी कॉज के अंदर, या फिर मल्टी नोड्यूलर गॉइटर है, या एक एडिनोमा है. इसको भी डायग्नोज करने के लिए लेबोरेटरी फाइंडिंग्स होती हैं. उसमें क्या होता है कि वी गिव द रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन इन द पेशेंट्स. ओके, एंड दिस रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन अपटेक विल बी मैनिफेस्ट डिफरेंटली ड्यू टू द डिफरेंट कॉजेज ऑफ द हाइपरथायराइडिज्म. क्या होता है, whenever there is a grave disease there will be a diffuse uptake of the whole gland. यानी कि पूरा ग्लैंड जो है ना वो रेडियो आयोडीन को अपटेक कर लेगा, क्योंकि पूरा ग्लैंड अफेक्टेड होता है whenever there is a grave disease. ओके, जब टॉक्सिक एडिनोमा की बात हो रही होती है तो एक सॉलिटरी नोड्यूल जो है अपटेक करता है, साफ नजर आ जाता है, ठीक है ना, इसकी फिर रेडियोग्राफी होती है और नोड्यूल जो है वो साफ नजर आ जाता है, जिसकी वजह से हमें पता चलता है कि पेशेंट इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम अ सॉलिटरी नोड्यूल. और जब थायरोडाइटिस होता है और इन्फ्लेमेशन होता है तो अपटेक डिक्रीज हो जाती है इन पेशेंट्स के अंदर. ठीक है, सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन अपटेक diagnosis for the different types of the hyperthyroidism which are primary in nature. Again, the interpretation of the thyroid profile simple जो है ये आपको स्लाइड में नजर आ रहा है कि प्राइमरी होता है तो T4 और T3 इंक्रीज होगा क्योंकि ये हाइपरथायराइडिज्म है, ये नेगेटिव फीडबैक देगा पिट्यूटरी को, TSH डिक्रीज होगा. तो ये पिक्चर नजर आएगी जब पेशेंट का आप थायराइड प्रोफाइल देंगे. ठीक है, जब सेकेंडरी होता है, सेकेंडरी में डेफिनेटली क्या होगा, TSH ज्यादा होगा, एडिनोमा अगर है पिट्यूटरी के अंदर, और ये TSH स्टिमुलेट करेगा थायराइड ग्लैंड को कि T3 और T4 भी इंक्रीज हो, तो ये तीनों के तीनों जो हैं वो बड़े होंगे. तो ऐसी पिक्चर आपको थायराइड प्रोफाइल में नजर आएगी व्हेन द पेशेंट इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम द सेकेंडरी हाइपरथायराइडिज्म. ठीक है, Now, finally, this is the last slide in which we are comparing the hypothyroidism and the hyperthyroidism. There are different type of the manifestation और एक दूसरे के opposite होती हैं ये hypo और hyper में, ठीक है ना। जैसे हमने पढ़ा था कि जो hypothyroidism है वहाँ ब्रेडिकार्डिया होता है, स्लो हार्ट बीट होती है, जबकि hyperthyroidism में जो है वो टिकिकार्डिया होता है, रैपिड हार्ट बीट होती है, ठीक है। इसी तरीके से कोल्ड इंटॉलरेंस होती है इन पेशेंट्स विद हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, हाउएवर इन पेशेंट्स विद हाइपरथायराइडिज्म हीट इंटॉलरेंस विल बी देयर, ठीक है ना। वार्म मॉइस्ट हैंड्स होते हैं, और जब आप हार्ट पेशेंट्स का जो है वो एग्जामिन करते हैं हाइपोथायराइड पेशेंट्स का, तो कोल्ड होते हैं। इसी तरीके से हैंड के अंदर जो है वो ट्रेमर्स होते हैं हाइपरथायराइडिज्म के अंदर, लेकिन जो पेशेंट्स हाइपोथायराइड होते हैं उनमें किसी किस्म के कोई ट्रेमर्स नहीं होते हैं, ठीक है। हाइपोथायराइड के पेशेंट्स वेट गेन की कंप्लेन करते हैं, हाइपरथायराइड में वेट लॉस होता है। Hypothyroid constipation, and in hyperthyroidism there will be a more complaint about the diarrhea or the frequent bowel movement. So एक दूसरे के opposite जो होती हैं बिल्कुल manifestation होती हैं, ठीक है। Dry coarse hair in case of the hypothyroidism, and hair loss in hyperthyroidism. Puffiness of the face, masked face होता है, मैंने आपको बताया था। और बल्जिंग आइज होती हैं इन पेशेंट्स विद ग्रेव डिजीज और द हाइपरथायराइडिज्म। एक्सोप्थेल्मस होता है, स्टीयर गेज होती है, ठीक है ना। इनलार्ज गोइटर होता है हाइपोथायराइडिज्म में सिर्फ जब हैशिमोटो हो रहा होता है, ठीक है, अदरवाइज पिल्पेबल नहीं होता, नजर भी नहीं आ रहा होता। और इनलार्ज गोइटर हमेशा होता है, ज्यादातर होता है इन मोस्ट ऑफ द पेशेंट विद द हाइपरथायराइडिज्म। वी कैन सी और वी कैन ऑब्जर्व और वी कैन पे द थायराइड ग्लैंड में नॉर्मली पिल्पेबल नहीं होता, ठीक है, लेकिन जब इनलार्ज जाता है पिल्पेबल होता है इन केस इन द केसेस विच आर ड्यू टू द हाइपरथायराइडिज्म, ठीक है। So this is the final slide of the lecture, and this is the last segment of the lecture in which we have seen the difference between the hypo and hyperthyroidism. So if you have any query, you can ask me. Thank you.
जी मैडम, एंड करें मैडम या अभी
जी,
क्वेश्चन आंसर करेंगे आप?
अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो लिख लें, वो बता दें मुझे।
हाँ, असल में वो चैटिंग में स्टूडेंट है ना,
तो
भेजेंगे
मुझे
आपको।
आप
देखें
चैटिंग तो शेयर करें, मुझे चैटिंग शेयर ही नहीं
नहीं,
हो रही।
चैटिंग देखें आप, मोड मोड लिखा हुआ है ना ऊपर, ऑप्शन देखें
हाँ,
आप।
आ रहा है, आ रहा है।
उसको खोलेंगे ना, तो एक चैट उधर चैटिंग हुआ, चैट बॉक्स ऑन करके साइड में कर लें।
हाँ हाँ, साइड पे कर लूँ।
हाँ, चैट बॉक्स जैसी
एक ही
ओपन
आ रही
करें।
है।
जी, देख ले क्वेश्चन आ रहा है तो, वरना तो फिर एंड करते हैं।
हाँ, एक आ रहा है क्वेश्चन, एक मिनट। Hyperthyroidism, it is not related to infeasible of the thyroid gland. It is due to inflammation of the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland can replace like this natural thyroid disease level increasing the level of can replace. Okay, there is a question in which somebody has asked about the hyperthyroidism, which is not related to the thyroid. Actually, there is a misunderstanding. The hyperthyroidism, the thyroid toxicosis, is a condition in which hyperthyroidism, which is not related to the thyroid gland, not related to the thyroid hormones नहीं है, ठीक है। थायराइड हार्मोन तो डेफिनेटली बढ़ेंगे जब भी हाइपरथायराइडिज्म होगा, लेकिन थायराइड ग्लैंड अफेक्टेड नहीं होगा, कहीं और से किसी और सोर्स से थायराइड हार्मोन्स निकल रहे होंगे, जैसे स्ट्रोमा ओवेराई मैंने बताया था आपको। तो स्ट्रोमा ओवेराई जो है वो टेराटोमा होता है, जिसमें एक्स्ट्रा जो है वो टिश्यूज होते हैं उसी साइड के अलावा, जैसे ओवेरियन ट्यूमर है तो ओवरी टिश्यू के अलावा इसके अंदर मेच्योर टिश्यूज होते हैं टेराटोमास के अंदर, ठीक है। कभी टीथ होता है इसके अंदर, कभी हेयर फॉलिकल होता है। तो इसी कंडीशन के साथ साथ स्ट्रोमा ओवराई में जो मेच्योर थायराइड टिश्यू है वो भी होते हैं। सो एक्स्ट्रा थायराइडल सोर्स होती है, यानी थायराइड ग्लैंड के अलावा कहीं और से सोर्स होती है थायराइड हार्मोन्स की। तो थायराइड हार्मोन्स तो इंक्रीज होंगे डेफिनेटली, ठीक है, लेकिन जो थायराइड ग्लैंड है वो अफेक्टेड नहीं होगा, ठीक है। अच्छा, वेयर व्हाई देयर इज अ गोइटर ओनली इन द हैशिमोटो थायराइडाइटिस। अच्छा ठीक है, हैशिमोटो थायराइडाइटिस में गोइटर बेटा इसलिए होता है क्योंकि हैशिमोटो के अंदर क्या होता है, ऑटो इम्यून प्रोसेस हो रहा होता है। तो जहाँ भी एंटीजन एंटीबॉडी होता है वहाँ पे जो है वो इन्फ्लेमेशन हो जाती है। इन्फ्लेमेशन होती है तो इन्फ्लेमेटरी सेल्स होते हैं। जब इन्फ्लेमेटरी सेल्स होंगे डेफिनेटली तो वो क्या करेंगे, स्पेस ऑक्युपाई करेंगे। ठीक है ना, जो थायराइड नॉर्मली थायराइड की जो ग्लैंड होता है उसके अंदर थायराइड फॉलिकल्स होता है और बीच में एक उनका जो है वो एक स्पेस होती है जहाँ पे जो है वो थायरोग्लोबुलिन स्टोर हो रहा होता है। तो उन स्पेसिस को जो है ना वो वहाँ पे इन्फिल्ट्रेशन आनी शुरू हो जाती है क्योंकि वहाँ पे इन्फ्लेमेशन शुरू हो जाती है। और इन्फ्लेमेशन जहाँ भी होती है आपको याद होगा बेसिक पैथोलॉजी का रूल ये है कि रूबर कैला डेरर होता है ना, तो एडिमा हो जाता है। तो उस एडिमा की वजह से जो है वो थायराइड इनलार्ज होता है। ठीक है। थायराइड अपटेक के इंटरप्रिटेशन बेटा ये है कि थायराइड अपटेक वैसे तो ऑब्सोलीट टेस्ट है, नहीं होता, लेकिन इसमें होता ये है कि थायराइड जो है वो आयोडीन दिया जाता है, रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन दिया जाता है पेशेंट को। ठीक है, उनमें इंजेक्ट किया जाता है। ठीक है। और होता यह है कि उसके बाद रेडियोग्राफिकली जो है वो थायराइड स्कैनिंग की जाती है। अब होता यह है कि जब थायराइड स्कैन किया जाता है, रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन अगर पूरे थायराइड ग्लैंड ने ले लिया है तो इसका मतलब यह है कि पूरा का पूरा थायराइड ग्लैंड अफेक्टेड है। ये हाइपरथायराइडिज्म की बात बता रहे हैं हम। ठीक है ना, और पूरा का पूरा थायराइड ग्लैंड जब अफेक्ट होता है, जब ग्रेव डिजीज होती है, होल पैरेन्काइमा इज इन्वॉल्व, एंटीबॉडी और एंटीजन रिएक्शन हो रहा होता है ना, कोई स्पेसिफिक पार्ट पे नहीं होता। सेकंड मोस्ट कॉमन कॉज क्या था कि मल्टी नोडुलर ग्वाटर और सिंगल नोडुलर ग्वाटर। तो मल्टी नोडुलर होते हैं तो मल्टी नोडुलर नजर आने लगते हैं, और सिंगल नोडुलर होता है तो सिंगल नोडुलर अपटेक लेता है, सिर्फ एक नोडुलर नजर आती है रेडियोग्राफ पे। ठीक है। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? ग्रेव डिजीज ग्रेव डिजीज में बेटा क्या आपने देखना है, स्लाइड्स देखनी है ग्रेव डिजीज की। ग्रेव डिजीज में ग्रेव डिजीज में क्या होता है बेटा, ग्रेव डिजीज में जो है वो एंटीजन एंटीबॉडी रिएक्शन है, ऑटो इम्यून है। लेकिन इसमें ये होता है कि जो ऑटो एंटीबॉडीज होती है ना वो ऐसे मिमिक करती हैं जैसे कि वो टीएसएच है। टीएसएच जो है वो क्या करता है, टीएसएच स्टिमुलेट करवाता है कहाँ पे, थायराइड ग्लैंड पे। थायराइड ग्लैंड में इसके रिसेप्टर्स होते हैं, तो ये एंटीबॉडीज ऐसे मिमिक करती हैं कि जैसे वो टीएसएच हैं, तो टीएसएच के बजाय वो एंटीबॉडीज रिसेप्टर पे चिपक जाती हैं और वो मुस्तकिल स्टिमुलेट करती रहती हैं थायराइड को, थायराइड ग्लैंड को, कि वो T3 और T4 निकालता रहे। तो ये जो है वो बेसिक जो है वो इटियोलॉजी होती है ग्रेव डिजीज की। ऑटोइम्यून अटैक डेट कॉज हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, हाँ जी, ये यही मैंने आपको बताया। हाइपोथायराइडिज्म में ऑटोइम्यून में ये होता है कि जो है वो मिमिक कर रही होती हैं, और हाइपो में ये होता है कि जो एंटीजेंस होती हैं, जो एंटीबॉडीज होती हैं वो उस एंटीजन को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देती हैं हैशिमोटो के अंदर। अब होता ये है कि ये एंटीजेंस कहाँ मौजूद होती हैं, वो एंटीजेंस जो कि थायराइड हार्मोन प्रोड्यूस कर रही होती हैं। तो जब वो डिस्ट्रक्शन करता है थायराइड ग्लैंड की, डेफिनेटली जो फंक्शनल टिश्यू होता है वो खत्म हो जाता है। और फंक्शनल टिश्यू खत्म होता है तो इसका मतलब है कि डिक्रीज अमाउंट ऑफ द टीएसएच एंड T3 विल बी रिलीज इन केस ऑफ द हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, ऑटोइम्यून हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, जैसे हशीमोटो होता है। ठीक है, और हाइपर का मैं बता चुकी हूँ। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
जी डॉक्टर साहब।
जी जी, इट इज डन।